Welcome back, factory owners. So apparently me talking about disabling ZTop sparked a bit of astonishment. Some of you were asking how that works out and why I don't get layer shifts. Shout out to the next layer. ZTop is one of those things people just seem to take as gospel and never really question the ins and outs of it. Just like you should never use fan cooling on ABS prints, which I debunked here. And just like ABS cooling, there are physical fundamentals at work which we need to understand in order to know in which situations ZTop is actually beneficial and where it's just increasing stringing and print time. So today we're going to take a deeper look into how and why that works. Let's start with the cases where you actually want to leave it enabled. The two reasons I can think of are kind of similar. The first is avoiding collision of the nozzle with already printed geometry. Since we print layer by layer, plastic is always extruded below the nozzle and the material shrinks, if at all. It never expands while cooling down. That is if you're not printing with severe overextrusion where the material is pushed up left and right. So at least theoretically we should never have a scenario where the nozzle can collide with anything, since just like stonks, the nozzle only goes up. But of course there's always an exception to the rule, and this is Nikola's stock, cold overhangs. Depending mostly on luck when slicing, the print might still turn out fine if the nozzle never travels directly over them. I wouldn't count on luck though, so if the model contains steep overhangs, it's best to leave ZTop enabled. I personally just avoid overhangs over 45 degrees like the plague and rather come up with a different design solution when doing my own designs. Quick shout out to my Fusion 360 Fundamentals course with all the modeling design tricks I use for perfect 3D printing results. The first chapter is free with a link below. In the past I even had collisions on curled overhangs when ZTop was enabled with overhangs that were too steep. Even though the Prusa Mark III detects and recovers those collisions, the issue persists and it's almost impossible to get really good results with such curled overhangs. The second valid reason is to avoid tiny parts being knocked over. This can happen not only by traveling over the perimeter, but also because of the adhesive properties of the polymer. PETG is especially notorious for being sticky. Just like with a magnet, it's way harder to pull a part straight up from the print bed compared to flipping it over sideways. So by first moving up, the bond between the part and the nozzle is weakened before the printhead moves away. This behavior is also what leads to stringing, again especially with PETG. But if you absolutely can't avoid those tiny sections, it's one of those cases where it's best to stick with ZTop. Quick bonus tip: you can adjust the printer settings to only use ZTop above and or below a certain height. This is a bit of a hack since you can only define one height range per print where ZTop is either on or off and the rest of the print the opposite is true. Overextrusion is one of the bad reasons to use ZTop. You're just applying a band-aid, but it doesn't fix the underlying issue. If your printer extrudes so much material that it's creating little walls left and right of the nozzle, you probably either need to calibrate the extrusion length of your extruder or adjust the flow rate for the material you're printing. If your print looks like this on the first layer, your nozzle will probably get caught on blobs of material buildup at some point. Speaking of which, those little blobs of plastic sticking to the print can appear on higher layers too. Those can have many sources, but none of them are fixed by using ZTop. Two of the reasons can be the nozzle not being screwed in tight enough so that a bit of material can squeeze out to the sides of the heater block, and printing too fast so that the hot end can't keep up fully melting the material anymore. Once again, especially PETG has a low melt flow rate, meaning you'll end up hitting the physical limits of your hot end sooner. Even if the nozzle is touching the print lightly when traveling, for example when crossing already laid down perimeters or infill, plus the possibility of the print warping from the bed, there's usually nothing to worry about. The Toolhead has enough play to not cause any damage. Depending on the printer model, it can be moved up quite a bit and is held down by gravity when printing. A Toolhead with preloaded linear rails will, of course, move way less than a printhead with linear rods and IGOS bushings. A Warren with the tap bed probe mod even moves quite a lot. A completely rigid Toolhead is never achievable, nor is it necessary anyway. As long as it only moves upwards and not from side to side, it's a good thing for damage protection. A little play saves the day. The nozzle also makes at least a bit of a difference. A nozzle with a steeper angle like the Mark VIII models is exerting more force on the Toolhead than a V6 nozzle with a shallower angle, for example. Since my printers with the most printing hours all use V6 nozzles, I can only really vouch for them. At least with those models I never had issues as long as the nozzle isn't leaving and re-entering the model's perimeter from a side severely warped up. A bit of warping below the nozzle looks ugly, but has never caused any layer shifts for me. Disabling ZTop can also make a noticeable difference in printing speed. Depending on your machine's capabilities, moving the Z-axis can cause a bit of a delay every time it's done, and this can add up quickly. For my Prusa Mark III it's barely noticeable since the toolhead moves rather slow anyway and the dual Z-axis is relatively quick. On my Voron 0.2 the toolhead is insanely fast while the bed moves rather slowly. This causes lags while printing, where the toolhead needs to wait for the Z-axis to finish moving. I've seen people on Reddit asking why their supposedly fast printer is lagging, and the answer wasn't a slow controller, it was Z-top being applied. If your fast printer also has a fast Z-axis, like the Voron 2.4 with its 4 individual belt-driven steppers, this phenomenon becomes barely noticeable again, but it's still causing. Even though my primary reason to disable Z-top was getting my Voron 0.2 to print faster, I couldn't help but notice the significant reduction in stringing. If you think about it, that's totally logical. Instead of moving up and pulling material to the travel destination like a spider web, the toolhead now has the chance to wipe the excess material off somewhere inside the part where nobody will ever see it. You can adjust that behavior even further by defining additional wipe travel movements, which I've explained in my slicer tuning video. This can be extraordinarily helpful when printing TPU, since retraction can sometimes lead to jams with soft materials. Let me know if I missed something, and don't forget to subscribe and check out my slicer tuning video to learn more about the advantages of disabling Z-top. See you in the next one.